Eerie Horizons.
Get ready. We're going on another adventurous journey. In 1990, a local, with his dog, followed the hunt and disappeared in the dark forests of Vietnam. The farmer knew this forest very well. It was impossible for him to disappear. No matter which way he turned, he would see trees and mountains for the first time. A few weeks later, when they went to search to find their lost friends, they found the body of their lost friends and dog in front of this game they would meet for the first time. According to the locals, they could not even get in because of the sounds coming from the cave. Officials also said that the region was known by the government in their research, but that there should not be such a cave. The point where the coordinates of the cave were was a point where many researchers had fallen before. No one had any information about such a cave, but the mystery is just beginning. When they entered, what they encountered was not something that any person could think of. When the officials advanced for a while, they encountered a new world, so much so that the endless rainforests inside. There were huge beaches, animals they never encountered, and incomprehensible strange sounds. Even more interesting, huge human footprints were moving towards the deep parts of the cave, and strange sounds were coming from the inner parts. A professional team was prepared to do a deeper research. These men, who are responsible for researching the inside of the cave, returned as one person missing exactly 20 days later. What they say is terrifying. There is a world inside, and no one should see what we encounter here. The team traveled for weeks, but could not even reach the end of the cave. After these words, the Vietnamese government announced that entry to the cave was temporarily prohibited. In fact, it was ordered to break the ban and shoot anyone who approached the cave. For exactly 10 years, they managed to hide this underground planet from the whole world. But to the village of the locals who found the cave, an American climber who came as a tourist in order to investigate what the huge footprints and the constant human voices were, he returned to his country and asked the Vietnamese government for permission to investigate through his university. The Vietnamese government gave this permission 2 years later. Americans. They decided to go to Vietnam until the end of the cave. I am reading the diary of one of the researchers who entered the cave. I thought the stories told by the locals could be legendary, but as soon as we got in, I realized the reality of everything. My friends and I were in doubt about moving forward. A human voice was constantly echoing in our ears, but such voices. Since we encountered a situation in many caves, we began to move forward by encouraging each other. There were endless forests inside. How can this be? How can a new world come to us when we enter through a tiny hole? Giant trees, animal species that have not been recorded before. Incredible sand dunes built around rivers and lakes. The height is almost 200 meters. It took us a week to get inside, up to 6 kilometers. The huge footprints mentioned begin here. The leader of our group, Mary, calculated that we encountered a total of 12 different footprints, 12 different feet. Each one is twice as big as a normal person. One of our friends is in such a place. He says that these footprints may belong to an unknown human species. Are there really people living underground? I do not know. Sometimes we encounter huge leaps. It is difficult to notice and overcome these leaps in the dark. The worst thing is to try to sleep listening to that voice that does not know how to stop. In a few days, we plan to take sound recordings and start the return journey. Because the batteries and our fortune is about to end. When the team completed their 21-day journey and returned, they had not reached the end of the cave yet. But all the documents in their hands were handed over by the Vietnamese and the American government, and their press releases were absolutely banned. Strange. Normally, when similar discoveries are made, they were first reported to the media. Of course, because of the stories told about the cave, many claims emerged in these periods. One of these claims is that there are huge human footprints, and it is unknown where it is stretched. It is about the places where the advanced regions of the cave, which do not have this end, live, which are also described in the Quran. As you know, Gog and Magog, as mentioned in the Quran, they live in a place where the mountains are closed, and they are told that they will come out one day. It is a description with great similarities with what the teams who really got in told, and it is even more surprising to find huge footprints. Another claim was that this endless cave, which has a separate life underground, is one of the doors that open to this world underground. At the beginning of the cave, the sound that comes to the ear as a hum can be distinguished as human speech after entering a few kilometers. Today, the situation is even weirder. It has not yet reached the end of the cave. It is not known how far it went, but it was able to move 9 kilometers by experts. Even in this state, the world's largest cave, Son Doog, is open to cave visitors, but up to a certain place. Even professional groups are forbidden to enter more than 2 kilometers. That is, it is forbidden to go to places where the sounds are clear and the footprints begin. Only some groups with special permission from the government can go further. On certain days of the year, even in the summer, it is forbidden to approach the cave without telling the reason. Every year, for an average of 5 or 6 days, it is forbidden to approach the cave more than 300 meters without telling any reason. This situation can be explained by reasons such as the protection of the ecosystem inside. Yes, but the event was a little different, because in these times, the cave environment is surrounded by Vietnam and American soldiers and officials, as well as by sharp attackers and special operations teams. We don't know what's going on inside, but the words of one of the researchers who entered the cave in 1995 explain some things. Entering Son Doog cave is a great danger to all humanity. If I were in your place, I wouldn't even take a step into the forest where you are.